Okay, biz artıq live-ıq. Gəlin belə. Salam deyim. Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Let's get started. So to start, I'm just going to, first of all, share my screen, and I hope my screen is going to be okay. Just a minute. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. That's okay. So, I know that my web camera is not available now, but it's going to be available. Okay. So, welcome everybody to Beyond Dashboards, the business stories behind the numbers session. So, today is September 28th, 2025. This session has been organized by Azerbaijan Power BI user meetup group and Orlando Power BI user meetup group. These meetup groups are sponsored by Microsoft Corporation. So a little bit, my name is Ilgar Zarbaliev. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP for Power BI and Microsoft Certified Trainer Community Lead. And I'm organizer of these kind of sessions. So this session is all about just going deeper than just dashboards and numbers. And I hope our speaker will give the necessary info in his presentation about the differences between dashboards and also other stuff related to these topics. And a little bit about our speaker. Today we are hosting my old friend Rauf Khalafov, who is Chief Information Officer at Embavut company. And I hope also in next minutes he will be giving the necessary info about himself. A little bit about our upcoming speakers. I'm going to host Anna Ogan from Founders University. This platform is all about um, just organizing or building courses related to AI. And also, we are going to have three more Microsoft employees, full-time employees, like Victoria Shelby from the Netherlands, Linda Larkan from USA, and also we're going to have Maya Shenha from Israel. And a little bit about our meetup rules. All the necessary info, if there is, materials are going to be shared with our members, meetup group members. And we'll have Q&A session, and this session is subject to recording and sharing. A little bit about our schedule. The first 3 or 5 minutes is all about introduction that I'm doing right now. And then for the next 40 minutes, our speaker, Rauf, will present his session. And at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A part of this session. But anyway, you can also type your question throughout the session. So stay connected. You may see my email address, phone number, and if you also want to become speaker, you can contact with me. So it means that 70,000 people will have the necessary info about your expertise, so on and so forth. So here I would like to stop my presentation, and I would like to deliver stage to our speaker. So stage is yours, Rauf.
Salam, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ilgar, for introduction. I am Rauf Khalafov. I am Chief Information Officer in Embavut, and also I am MCT also in SQL Server and Power BI and Data Lover. So I'd like to share my screen. I hope you'll see it.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. First of all, I would like to thank Ilgar for his fantastic contribution in building this community. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. So that's my presentation, Beyond Dashboards, the business stories behind the numbers. I want to begin with a question. How many of you have ever built a beautiful dashboard, but then nothing happened? No changes, no decisions, no impact. The truth is, having a lot of dashboards and reports doesn't make an organization data-driven. It just means you have a lot of numbers floating around. True data-drivenness comes from using those numbers to make an impact and to get real business results. As an old Japanese proverb reminds us, vision without action is daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. But when vision, action, and data come together, something amazing happens. Well, let's look at some data stats. That's a huge amount of money. It's by 2025, businesses are expected to spend a massive 2.8 trillion on digital transformation. But only 44% of companies feel truly ready for big digital changes because of bad data quality costs businesses trillion every year. These numbers show a clear problem. Companies are investing a lot in digital and no data is vital. Yet many still struggle with having good data and feeling prepared for big changes. The real power isn't just collecting data, it's transforming it into clear, useful insight that help you make better decisions. It's easy to talk about data in theory, but it's much easier to understand through a simple story. To guide us on this journey, I'd like to introduce a character I'll call Alex. Alex is a junior data analyst. Like many of us, he wanted to build the perfect dashboard, beautiful charts, perfect design. But his work fell flat. Why? The problem wasn't his technical skills. He was missing the bigger picture. I created the story of Alex for this talk as a simple way to illustrate the journey from a data professional to a strategic partner. So let's join Alex on this journey. The first lesson Alex learned was simple. Before looking at any numbers, you need to understand the business. Every number is a part of business processes. They are always connected to real actions, people, and processes. One of the best tools to do this is called Porter's value chain. Think of it as a map of how a company creates value and earns money. Every company has a chain of activities. Some are primary activities, the main steps to create the driving product. Others are support activities, things like HR, IT, or finance, that make the main steps possible. Think of it like a restaurant. Inbound logistics, getting fresh ingredients to the kitchen, operation, the cooking itself, outbound logistics, serving the meal to the customers, marketing and sales, convincing people to come to your restaurant, service, making sure guests are happy and want to return. And behind all this, you have support, HR, hiring staff, IT running systems, finance paying the bills. That's a value chain, the journey from inputs to happy customers. The value chain is like a blueprint. The structure is the same anywhere, but what you build, it depends on the company. In a factory, it's wood and machines. In Microsoft, it's code and cloud. The pattern is the same, the context is different. And that's exactly what you see on the screen. Where do we get the data for the business processes? Every step leaves a digital footprint. In many companies, there is software like ERP systems where they manage accounting and business processes. Some ERPs include almost everything, the whole value chain in different modules. Logistics live in warehouse management systems or supply chain management, marketing in CRM, customer relationship management, production in manufacturing execution systems, service and ticketing system. Put this footprint together and you will see full story of the value chain. But the problem is, in such ERPs, it's often hard to succeed in specific areas. Why? Because companies also need strong integration with other tools. That's why we see separate systems like warehouse management systems for warehouses, supply chain management for supply chain, manufacturing execution system for production, and CRM for customers. The idea is simple. ERP gives the foundation, but specialized system gives the depth. Let's look at some example. Power BI is a wonderful tool. It can pull data from almost everywhere, ERP, CRM, Excel, you name it. But here's the issue. Working directly with ERP tables is not always convenient. First, ERPs are designed for transaction, not analysis. Queries can be slow and risky. I would say 70% OLTP and 30% as OLAP. And second, just look at the table names. Very often in ERP databases, there are cryptic numbers, codes, strange abbreviations. You don't always know where things are or how to link them together. Building a clear report from that mess can be painful. That's why on the right side on the slide, you see the improved version. A dedicated analytics database. It can be views or even a proper data warehouse. The idea is ERPs keep the raw truth, but we build a clean, organized layer on top where tables are clear, relations are defined, and analysis can finally focus on the insights. In many customer relationship systems, when we talk about customers, there are already built-in dashboards. They can look nice and be useful, as you can see on the left side of the slide. But the real question is, do our executives actually log in these systems? And should they? Plus, we even have enough licenses for anyone. In most cases, the answer is no. Top managers don't want to jump between 10 different systems. They want one simple point of access. That's why we need a centralized tool like Power BI, where all the results are in one place. For middle managers, though, sometimes it makes sense to keep using those built-in CRM dashboards. And here's the good news. Power BI can easily get data from CRM systems. It has ready-made connectors for Salesforce and others. And if there is no connector, we can still connect through APIs, calls with mQuery, as long as the CRM system can provide an API. As you can see on the right side of my slide, it's an example from my real project. Lesson 2 for Alex. Now that we understand where the data comes from, let's ask a simple question. What should Alex, as a data analyst, actually do? In the data world, we often talk about three main roles: the engineer, the scientist, and the analyst, each with a distinct purpose. The engineer makes sure data is available and reliable. Their question is, do we have the right data and can we trust it? The scientist builds complex models and predictions. Their question is, what will happen if, or can we predict the future? The analyst answers business questions with numbers, reports, and dashboards. The question is, what is happening right now and what does it mean for the business? The key point is, this is not a hierarchy. One role isn't above the other. They work together. The engineer builds good pipelines so the analyst can explore. The analyst insight inspires the scientist models. The scientist model often need new data from the engineer. It's a team sport. Let's look at the data analyst's daily duties. A data analyst is like a detective. First, you look for clues, explore the data you have. Then you ask the right questions, focus on what the business really wants to know. Next, you spot the patterns, connect the dots and see what is really going on. And finally, you tell the story, explain the result in simple words so that everyone can understand and use them. That's the job. Turn numbers into a story that helps people make better decisions. But what exactly does a data analyst do? When a data analyst starts working in a company, the first question is, where is my data? Who should I ask and where do I get the data? And here are two possible situations. If there is a full data team in a company or if there is no team in our company. As a data analyst, your job can look very different, depends on the situation. But the main goal is always the same. Make sense of the numbers. Imagine a busy kitchen. In a full data team, you have a data engineer and data scientist cooking alongside you. When you work in a full data team, you are not alone. The data engineer prepares the data, like cleaning and organizing the ingredients. The data scientists build models and run experiments. And you take that prepared data and turn into something clear, reports, dashboards, and answers that the business can use. You are the translator between the data and decisions. When you work alone, sometimes you are the first data hire. No engineer, no scientist, just you. Maybe some DBAs or developers. You do everything. Collect the raw data, clean it, analyze it, and share the results. It's harder, but it gives you a full picture and teaches you to focus on what matters most. And there's the beauty. Whether in a team or on your own, your mission doesn't change. You tell the story hidden in the numbers. You help people see the big picture and make smarter choices. That's the real power of the data analyst. Lesson 3 for Alex. Here is the truth. Being a good data analyst is not just about SQL or dashboard. That's the easy part. What makes you valuable are the soft skills. At first, Alex showed perfect chatboards and charts, but people looked at him like, so what? Then he changed his approach. He stopped speaking data language and started speaking human language. No jargon, just clear and simple words. Instead of saying sales are down, he asked why and came with ideas on how to fix it. He stopped sitting alone with his laptop and began working around, talking to sales, marketing, finance. That's where the real stories came from. And yes, he learned not to trust numbers blindly. And sometimes look too good or too bad to be true, he dug deeper. Alex also learned patience. Data work is not magic. Sometimes you wait for systems, for reports, for people to respond. If you rush, you make mistake. And he learned pragmatism. You can't fix every number. You can't solve every problem. Focus on what really matters for the business. In other words, don't try to boil the ocean. Be patient, stay practical, and use your energy where it makes a bigger impact. And here's the funny part. His most powerful tool turned out not to be SQL or Power BI, but his mouth and his ears, talking and listening. At the start, Alex was just a dashboard builder. He could write SQL, make clean charts, and ship reports. Technically great, but something was missing. Over time, Alex realized that the job wasn't only to show numbers, but to investigate them, like a detective. He started asking new questions. Why did this change happen? What behind the trend? What action should we take? His strongest tool turned out to be not SQL or Power BI, but his soft skills, communication, problem solving, collaboration. Lesson 4 for Alex. Now let's talk about the final piece of the puzzle. What do managers or C-level executives actually want from us? The simple answer is they want clarity, they want direction, and they want action. Think about a car dashboard. When you are driving on the highway, you don't need to know the engine's temperature to the third decimal point. You just need to know if you're going too fast, if you are low on gas, or if your warning lights is on. A CEO is making a high-speed decision for the entire company. They need the same kind of simple, actionable information. Dashboards and reports are not just about showing numbers. They must be things done. They mean 3 things. First, clarity. Visuals should be simple and easy to read. Second, direction. They should point to what leaders can actually do next. And third, action. A good dashboard doesn't just inform, it drives decision. If a number changes nothing, then it's just decoration. But here's the next challenge. Once you have insight, how do you show them? Not all dashboards are the same. In fact, there are different types, each serving different purposes. Let's take a quick look at a main kind of dashboards you can build. The strategic dashboards, big picture for top leaders, show overall goals and progresses. Keep them as simple as possible. Example, company's performance summary, revenue growth, a CEO seeing sales growth with target, likes checking the health of the whole company. Analytical dashboards deeper into details, explore trends and patterns. Example, regional sales analysis, sales and profit margin by region, customer lifetime value analysis. a marketing team analysis which campaign brought the most new customers, and so on. And third, operational dashboards, the real-time monitoring for quick decisions. Example, live call center status, a warehouse manager tracking today's shipment, green means smooth, red means problem, and so on. This is dynamically changed dashboards. Do you still remember your favorite childhood story? Maybe a fairy tale, maybe a bedtime story. Of course you do. Why? Because it had characters, conflicts, and a lesson. We remember stories, not numbers. The human brain is hardwired for stories. We remember them, we connect to them. That's why a great data story follows a simple structure. Sets the scene. What happened? For example, sales dropped 10% this quarter. Introduce this conflict. Why did it happen? A viral post criticizes our environmental practices. Present the resolution. What should we do next? Invest in sustainable materials and shift marketing to highlight it. Define the characters. Who is involved? In this case, young customers who care about sustainability. And just like that, the numbers become a story people can remember and act on. Of course, there are hundreds of business metrics out there. You can read about them in open source. Different industries focus on different metrics. For example, for e-commerce, conversion rate, average order value, average revenue per user. For service as a software as a service, monthly recurring revenue, the total subscription revenue you get each month, annual recurring revenue, the same but calculated for the year, net revenue retention, how much revenue you keep from existing customers after churn and upsell, net promoter score, customer loyalty and satisfaction. For manufacturing companies, cost of goods sold, gross margin, inventory turnover, and so on. For restaurant or retail, same store sales, foot traffic, basket size, and many more. The most important metrics will always depend on your industry and your business model. When it comes to customers, most of these reports are already exist in CRMs. You can easily pull them from there. But if your companies don't have a CRM, then yes, you have to build them yourself. And of course, there are many customer-related metrics, but the three that from the foundation are customer acquisition cost, how much it costs to get one new customer, customer lifetime value, how much value a customer brings over their relationship with you, customer churn rate, how many customers you are losing. These three, CAC, CLV, and churn, are the baseline. They answer the basic question, how much it costs to acquire, how much value customers bring, and how well we keep them. Here's the real example. The CEO sent an urgent message. Our churn rate is up 50% this quarter. What's going on and what should we do? Don't worry, guys. Let's be honest, the CIO will probably never send you an email directly asking for the dashboard. This is just for example. Alex, the analyst, gets to work. His first step is simple: to make a cup of coffee and then visualize the data. And what he finds is clear. The spike is not with all customers, but with new ones. In their first 90 days, churn has skyrocketed. That's the power of good analysis, turning a bit problem into a clear picture that everyone can see. Alex didn't just put random data. He used the value chain as his map. He asked himself, which part of the business could be failing our customers? It could be marketing, it could be operation, but in this case, the signals pointed to service, after-sales support. Alex goes deeper into the data. He looks at service and understands why customers leave. Focusing on the service activity, Alex gathers data from multiple sources to find why customers are leaving by talking and listening, after sales service managers asking questions. Soon he starts to see a clear pattern. He makes two reports. The first report looks at support call reasons, and the result is striking. The majority of new customers are calling about confusing billing statements. That's the first big clue. The second report looks at churn by wait time. And here the pattern is clear. The longer new customer waits for help, the more likely they are to leave. If the wait is over 50 minutes, churn risk shoots up dramatically. Together, these two reports tell a simple story. Bad billing experience plus long wait times equal frustrated customers. Alex didn't just throw numbers on the slide. He told a story the CEO could understand. What happened, why it happened, and what to do next. The story was simple. Churn was up. Customers were frustrated by confusing bills and long wait times, and the solution was clear. Fix the bill and support. And here's the magic. Action followed. Billing was redesigned. The call center got resources. The churn began to drop. That's the power of storytelling, turning numbers into change. So here's my final question for you. In your own role, are you just showing numbers or are you helping people to act on them? Because the future of the data isn't dashboards, it's about stories, clarity, and action. That's how we make an impact. And to make it practical, let's summarize Alex's journey in few simple lessons. The key takeaways we can use. The first lesson, understand the business. Know the value chain, the game board. Lesson 2, understand your role. Embrace being a data detective, focusing on insights. Lesson 3, develop soft skills. Your technical skills get you in the door, but it's your soft skills that make you truly valuable. Lesson 4, understand what executives really want. Lesson 5, tell the story. Communicate findings that drive action. And finally, become a player on the field. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Rauf. I'm a person whose background is coming from retail, and I'm dealing with building dashboards in Power BI. Really, I found all this info very useful, and I hope the others also. Before organizing this meetup, I'm just gathering some questions. So I have put 4 questions in the chat. If you don't mind, be so kind as to read them and you can answer to those questions. or I can read it for you. It's up to you. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for questions. Question one. Imagine your dashboard shows a significant drop in sales. How would you link these numbers back to business processes like supply chain, marketing, to operation to identify the root case? Okay, great question. Thank you. I'd say if sales drop, I don't just look at the number. It traces back to the processes. Was marketing bringing in a few leads or something else? Did operations save stock out or delivery delays, or so on? Or maybe the supply chain could help keep up.
So
The
delivery.
dashboard. The dashboards shows the symptoms, but we root case lives in business processes. Okay. Question two. When presentation to executives, how do you balance showing a detailed drill through dashboard with simplifying the story to highlight only the key business outcomes? I'd answer like this. Executives don't need every detail. They need clarity. Let's make a dashboard for them as simple as possible. They need the story. I use the drill through dashboards for my own analysis, but when I present, I highlighted just the key outcomes. What happened, why it matters, and what decision it needs. If they want details, I can drill them down further. Question 3.
It starts with when designing a sales report.
Okay.
Why? Yes.
Okay, so when designing a sales report, why is it important to understand the company's sales process and not just the raw numbers? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you. Numbers alone don't tell the full story, as you know. If I understand the sale processes, how leads come in, how deals close, where bottleneck happen, then the report showed not just what happened, but why. That's how we make the data useful for real business decisions. If numbers tell us a story, it's very useful. And last question is, okay, I see it. How does Power BI help identify a bottleneck in operational workflows, such as inventory delays or HR onboarding issues? I would say Power BI connects data from different systems and makes problems visible. Power BI is a great tool. For example, if inventory is stuck, you will see longer delivery times in the report. If HR onboarding takes too long, you'll see details between hiring and first workday. The dashboard shows where the processes slow down so leaders can act. Okay, that's the last
Yes.
question. Yes?
Yeah, it was last question, and we have one comment
Thank
from
you.
Aurora. I love
Thank
how
you.
this is, yes. So thank you very much, Rauf, once again. Really, I know that whatever you shared was based on the real projects, real cases. And so I highly appreciate it. Thank you once again for being here on this weekend. It's by the way, in last 4 or 5 years, I started organizing these meetups. It's the first time that I'm organizing. I'm hosting a webinar or meetup on Sunday. So so that's the reason that not many people just join. So not big issue, but they will have an opportunity to watch the recording. So once again, thank you very much. And with your permission, I would like to stop streaming.